Well, good evening, folks. Welcome back to the farm. It's utter chaos here today. The air is thick like pea soup. Every animal we own is somewhere where it's not supposed to be. And in about 10 minutes, we got a lady coming to pick up some turkeys. Right now, I got to deal with 2 sheep, a miniature pony, a miniature donkey, all of which are not supposed to be here, all of which are eating on stuff they shouldn't be. These 2 were over in the neighbor's place. That's why she got the halter on her, because the neighbor lady walked her over because they were over in eating on the rose bushes. These lambs come up. I come out at 5 o'clock this morning. Everybody was where they were supposed to be. I was like, this is fantastic. First time this week there's been no chaos. I'm just going to go to work. 7 a.m. the wife phones me screaming, absolutely hysterical, sheep all over the yard, and eating on bushes, doing all kinds of stuff. I'm like, you know what, just leave it. Just close the gate to the farm. I'll come home early. We'll figure it out. Then she phones and says that, well, the sheep are over at the neighbor's place. Then the horses were over at the neighbor's place. Now I got dog hair in my mouth. I still don't got it. There we go. Oh, it's a mustache hair. Gross. And anyway, everybody's where they're not supposed to be. And the horse and the donkey, like, again, I don't even know how they're getting out. They would have had to cross 2 fence lines and 2 closed gates to get across the road to the neighbor's place. Like, what are we doing? Magic tricks here now? Apparently. Okay, so just kick that horse out, the donkey, the 2 lambs out back here. I'm just going to watch that pony and see where it goes, because she's up to something. I don't know. Again, I don't know how she's doing it. If she's jumping over that buffalo wire, maybe she'd go in the Olympics. Something like that. Maybe she's just going to get a drink of water. I'm not sure. Looks like she's just going for a drink of water. I guess maybe being an asshole's thirsty work. I'm not sure. So now I got to head over to the turkey tractor. You can see over there with the blue tarp on the roof, and the blue tarp's just doing this. Like, usually in these videos, I like to show you how, like, we kind of got things organized. There's no chaos. We've reduced our inputs. Lately, it's just been completely the opposite. It's just been an absolute train wreck around here. It's like watching a car crash. You just can't look away. But a few weeks back, that tarp did the exact same thing. I had the wife go buy a new tarp. I never replaced it because I was like, well, you know what? I'll throw a ratchet strap on it. I'll see if I can kind of get it to stay there. Why replace the tarp and have a new tarp worn out early? If I can milk this one just for a few more weeks, maybe we'll get the turkeys by. I can save that brand new tarp for next year. Wouldn't that be great? Well, anyways, now it's completely letting go. He's going to get one more zip tie. If this doesn't cut her, it might just be early butchering day for the turkeys. So what do you do when you see that? That must be 75 crows or ravens. Like, that's eerie. That's generally a pretty good indicator that something's in a state of well-being that it shouldn't be in. But even that's abnormal. Like, that's so many. Like, that's something that could eat a bull moose in an hour. I'm gonna have to take a walk through the bush. If you hadn't figured it out here already, I'm down by the corrals. Last night at about 10:15, I think the wife got home from work. And we went on the deck and we looked over and we're like, why are there sheep out in that field over there? So I ran down. She's like, oh, you're gonna get them in tonight? And I was like, yeah, I got it. Like, we've been surrounded by coyotes. I got a picture this morning of, like, the neighbor's front yard with 2 foxes, 2 fully grown chicken-eating foxes sitting on their front lawn. And, like, her husband's like a big outdoorsman. I don't know how he hasn't just folded them things inside out yet, but I was like, yeah, I got to get them in. So I put them in and over here in our big pie-shaped piece. And there's no grass in there. I didn't need grass at 10:30 at night. I just needed containment. So I got them in. And I come down this morning at 5 o'clock. And I noticed the electric fence was kind of pushed over there. But over here, like, yeah, they found a path. So they must have chewed on the string I had it tied up with or whatever. So I brought some more baler twine down. We'll get that tied up, get it tightened up. Put a couple of just regular plastic step-in fence posts along the way, just to kind of add a little bit more structure to it. But looking over here, they have done quite a bit of work to graze this down, and it might be time to really consider moving them over here So I will have to get my hammer and staples and a fence stretcher out and get that other 100 yards of wire over to there. I was going to stop at the UFA today and pick up another 100 yards for that piece going that direction. But well, when everything's over at your neighbor's place, you generally shouldn't stop at the UFA and start picking stuff up. Get chatting with the guy at the counter. You should probably just get home and get your animals back to where they gotta be. So I'll stop tomorrow and pick up another roll of fence. And then I'm thinking that's probably gonna be after I got the dentist appointment on Friday, and then that's probably gonna be the rest of my Friday. Just come down, fence all that, and then the sheep can come in here and stay off of that stuff. So having a look over here by my Energizer, was like, how did they even get over that? Well, you know, sheep initially, they're gonna push with their nose, and then they're gonna get a snap, and they're gonna learn that lesson real quick. But then they start to lean on it with their shoulder and with their flanks, their chest, all the woolly spots, and they realize this doesn't actually hurt that bad. So then they really get to pushing. But I was looking at this wire, like where did it come disconnected? And I noticed like there's no alligator clip on there either anymore. I heard it snapping in the grass. So that's something I guess you got to be cognizant of if you run an electric fence. Where are you grounding out at, especially in these dry conditions? I mean, that's just a spark. It's just another ignition source. So if this thing's arcing out on the ground, thankfully everything's chewed down here. But if it was over in that grass over there, it might be a different story. But I see about 15 feet that way, there's the little red clip for the end. So I'm going to see if I don't have any pliers in the truck. I'll see if I can jimmy it on for now. And I'll have to come back down with the pliers here later on. And but for now I'll get this tied up at least so it's upright. Okay, so I'm down here in the bush. I just walked along that east side of the fence. That's the stuff that I installed about 2-3 weeks ago. And I just wanted to check because I know there's a spot where there's a dip and I know they're getting under there. I just wanted to confirm where it was and just how I would manage it. And what I'm more than likely going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of this deadfall that's somewhere on the forest floor and then just nail it up to the 2 fence posts and then just staple the bottom wire to that fence post, and so that to the wires, to the rails, so they can't go underneath, right? Just prevent them from going underneath. But as I walked back through the bush here, I was over there and I saw a strange, and I had to distance myself from it. I saw what I thought was a strange looking log. It had some weird bumps on it. As I got closer and closer, I realized something was crawling on it, and it was this color. It was this same color as this tree bark. Yeah, that's not a strange log at all. That's a basketball sized hornet's nest. Black and white hornets. I don't know if they're better or worse or of any kind of, maybe they're murder hornets, I don't know, but I'm just going to put some distance between me and that. I would love to just come in with a tire torch and just burn that thing out of there, but as you can see by the amount of underbrush and stuff we got in here, I think that would be more than a guy could handle. And I really would like the sheep to eat what's left in here. They have done quite a number on it actually. I'm actually pretty impressed, but they've definitely gone for the leafy stuff and left the tougher stocky stuff. So now that we're working towards more and more permanent fencing of this spot here, this actually works out better. I'll probably put them in here first, because this is the wettest. This is actually the wettest spot in the farm. This right here that you see, that is not a game trail. That's an ephemeral draw. That's where water channels through and then ends off and goes down to the lake over there. So not that I want hoof rot or anything like that, but to get them onto here and get them when that grass is fresh and green. And then I can rotate quickly back through over by the big pie-shaped piece over by the dugout, and then probably bring them back for a second rotation through here. Whereas a lot of the stuff we have, you know, these little paddocks, they see one rotation and then they're pretty much chewed down to the equivalent of a billiards table by the time the sheep are done with it, and it doesn't take them long. But yeah, so maybe that'll be a plan for next year. Keep doing some clearing, keep coming in with the saw. Yeah, this willow is just like, it's just terrible in here, right? It's basically a trap. It's just one big trap. And that's why the cows don't ever come in here and clean anything out, is because they can't they can't get their way through here, right? Anyways, after all that fiasco catching the turkeys, the day's getting on here. I thought that lady was going to come at about 2:30, but it's now, well, it's after 3:30. So I think I'm going to run to town, pick up the kids from daycare. Hopefully when I get home, maybe she'll be ready to pick up the birds. And hopefully the sheep are still in here and not off on a grand adventure somewhere else. Okay, so I just looked it up. They're not murder hornets, they're bald-faced hornets, but they're equally as bad, because the bald-faced hornet, they have a terrible sting and they will come at you gangbusters. They remember faces. So if you've been there before and they didn't like your activity, they remember. Like, they see you and they're like, I don't want that guy. And they will chase you a second, third, fourth, fifth time, however many times it takes to get you away from their territory. As well, like, this is what's really concerning, is that they, not only do they eat other bees, but they actually prefer their prey to be live. So, like, they'll make sport of whatever they're after. They won't just go and scavenge or, you know, chase a can of pop or an old hot dog that's sitting on a plate around a picnic table. They hunt and kill live prey. So I may rethink my strategy about not burning the forest down, because I don't have a beekeeper suit. I might put on like 5 or 6 pairs of coveralls and come down and see about, I don't know if I want to leave it alone or if I actually want to manage this thing or not. But I certainly don't want to leave it there where, say, you know, the wife or the kids or something like that could be walking through the woods one day and then end up, what was that movie from the 80s or 90s, My Girl? I can't be having a remake of that here on the farm. So I'm gonna have to manage this somehow, on top of all the other craziness.